Welcome to the exit sequence, the gates. Up until now, this journey has been about seeing through the illusion. The gates are about what comes next. Each gate represents a choice, a place where awareness becomes action, where insight becomes embodiment, and where sovereignty becomes more than an idea. Politics, money, health, media, and personal responsibility converge here. The question is no longer whether you can see the system. The question is whether you're willing to stop feeding it. Gate 2. Exit the currency trap. It's time for another truth. There is no knight in shining armor coming to fix things. No white hat savior in a suit. No election that will restore your freedom. That's a hard pill. This shouldn't disturb you, though, because the liberating truth is right behind it. You don't need one. We've been trained, programmed really, to believe change comes from the top. That leadership means looking up. That voting is our most powerful tool. History tells a different story. The greatest revolutions, the most meaningful shifts, always begin from below. From the people who finally say, no more. In 2012, there was a glimpse of something different. Ron Paul, love him or not, spoke truths that shook the system. End the Fed, restore liberty, stop the endless wars. He had crowds that rivaled rock concerts and a message that crossed political lines. Thus, they buried him. Just like they buried Dennis Kucinich, Cynthia McKinney, JFK, RFK, JFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and others who refused to toe the line. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, Gary Webb. These weren't perfect people, but they dared to name names, expose corruption, or challenge the machinery. The machine doesn't allow real reformers to rise. They're either smeared, sidelined, or silenced. The Federal Reserve, still here, still not federal, still not a reserve. Still acting as a private banking cartel, draining your wealth through inflation, market rigging, and debt slavery. Created in 1913 by design on the eve of Christmas, while the public was distracted and Congress half empty, every president who stood against the banking cartel, Lincoln, Garfield, Kennedy, was taken out. Those who serve it are elevated, protected, and canonized. What's the answer? Withdraw your consent. Not by violence, not by shouting at a screen. Instead, by reclaiming your energy, your attention, your currency, your choices. Stop funding companies that poison your body, your water, your air. Stop watching media that lies to you. Stop buying food that weakens your system. Stop idolizing people who despise you. Stop begging institutions for scraps of your own freedom. Use your wallet like a weapon. Use your mind like a firewall. Use your presence like a frequency disruptor. Grow your own food if you can. Barter and build local economies. Buy local. Support creators and healers who walk the walk. Unplug from the algorithm. Read banned books. Learn lost skills. Spend less, waste less, and want less. Perhaps most importantly, remember who you are. You are not a political demographic. You are not a left or right puppet. You are not a consumer to be herded or a taxpayer to be bled dry. You are a free, God-connected being, born with the right to think, to move, to speak, to dream, and to reject the system that feeds on your ignorance. The act of seeing through it is your rebellion. The act of choosing differently is what builds the new world. You don't collapse a system by yelling at it. You collapse it by making it irrelevant. The truth is, we are already doing it. The only question now is, will you keep going? The Federal Reserve, the engine of enslavement. The cornerstone of modern control isn't war. It's not media. It's not even government. It is money. More precisely, debt-based currency controlled by private banking, enshrined and enforced through the blood sign covenant known as the Federal Reserve. Installed in secret on Christmas Eve in 1913, the Federal Reserve was never a federal institution. It was and remains a private banking cartel. Its function, to create money from nothing, lend it at interest, and then lead the public through inflation, taxation, and debt servitude. It's a system that ensures you are always running just to stay afloat. It didn't stop with America. Through the International Monetary Fund, also known as the IMF, the same bloodline banking dynasties extended their reach across the world. They offered so-called help, loans, restructuring, development funds, and then crushed nations under the weight of repayment, stealing their natural resources and creating internal wars. They did it to Greece, to Italy, to Portugal, to Argentina, to Yugoslavia. When that wasn't enough, they engineered revolutions under the banner of freedom, only to replace governments with puppet regimes that bowed to the global financial machine. Make no mistake, what happened in Libya, Syria, and Egypt was not grassroots rebellion. It was orchestrated collapse designed to destroy infrastructures, plunder resources, destabilize autonomy, and profit from the rebuild. Who is always involved in the rebuilding? I'll give you a hint. Their name begins with a color. This is war as a business model. It's been repeated over and over. Weapons of mass destruction? Never found. Instead, oil contracts, government contracts, and reconstruction deals flowed like gold. It was all done in your name by people who call themselves your leaders, who wrap themselves in flags and smile for cameras while trading lives for capital. The unhuman architects of control. Once you understand that the financial system is rigged, the next question becomes, who rigged it? Who benefits from endless war, perpetual debt, social division, and human suffering? Some say it's the global elite. Others say ancient bloodlines. Others suggest extraterrestrial forces or interdimensional parasites. You don't have to subscribe to any theory. If you observe carefully, you'll see the pattern clearly enough. They, whoever they are, don't think like us. They don't feel like us. Compassion is absent. Empathy is absent. Remorse is absent. What they possess is ambition, hunger, cold, reptilian logic, a relentless obsession with power, control, and above all, immortality. Every American president but one can be traced to European royal bloodlines. The same is true for monarchs and prime ministers across the Western world. Coincidence? Maybe. If you think the entire planet just accidentally fell under the control of the same interwoven families, you're not thinking clearly. What keeps their control alive? Fear. Fear is the fuel of the matrix. It is the invisible currency of mass obedience. They pump it into your bloodstream every single day. Fear of losing your job, fear of nuclear war, fear of the climate, fear of disease, fear of dissent, fear of freedom itself. They will threaten your food, your health, your money, your children, your community, because fear short-circuits the rational mind. It keeps you locked in survival mode. It keeps you begging for the very system that exploits you. What then do? You stop believing the fear. Paper shackles. Why should money accrue interest? Why should we borrow what should be freely available for human growth? Abraham Lincoln didn't believe we should. He fought to create interest-free currency, money that served the people, not the bankers. That was the real reason he was assassinated. So was Kennedy, who attempted a similar maneuver. So was Garfield. The list goes on. Every time a leader tries to decouple from the banking elite, he is removed by scandal, by bullet, or by proxy. Meanwhile, the illusion persists that your hard-earned dollars represent wealth. In truth, they represent debt printed by a private institution and lent back to you with compounding interest. The more you work, the more they own. J.P. Morgan, Chase, Rockefeller, Rothschild. These names aren't history. They are current controlling forces. They operate on profit extraction. Worse, they're not done. As for the rebel truth, you are not powerless in this equation. Yes, you need to pay rent. Yes, you need food and clothes. But you don't have to play their game. You can change the rules by how you live. Grow your own where possible. Join local co-ops. Barter, trade, share, repair. Resist the compulsion to consume. Buy only what serves you and starve the beast of your energy. You don't have to go off-grid. You can begin today to divest from the system that enslaves you and reinvest in the one that sustains you. Human connection, local resilience, spiritual authenticity, nature, and simplicity. Luxury isn't the enemy. Blind consumption is. We've been sold a dream that became a trap. Bigger houses, faster machines, smarter tech, shiny everything. If you look beneath the glitter, you'll find what we lost: peace, purpose, time, truth. If you look around the world, outside the resort zones, you'll see communities that live with far less, yet feel far more alive. They know their neighbors. They share meals. They watch the sky, not the screen. They remember what matters. It's not too late to remember too. Because once you see the money is fake, you stop worshiping the game and you start building something real. The 1%. Manufactured scarcity, engineered obedience. Travel to non-westernized regions of the world and something becomes clear. The excess is missing. Not the joy or community, just the excess. Somehow, the system has convinced the Western world that more equals better. Bigger homes, faster cars, higher status, but at what cost? It's clear that less than 1% of the population controls nearly all the world's wealth. That's the rigged game laid bare. They own the land, they own the banks, they own the patents, the airwaves, the algorithms, the vaccines, the farmland, and the digital platforms. Still, they ask you to donate after every disaster. They ask you to round up your grocery bill for charity. They ask you to feel guilty for not doing enough. Meanwhile, they hoard. They offshore their wealth. They build bunkers in New Zealand. They start philanthropic foundations that serve as tax shelters while telling you what's best for your health, your children, and your future. COVID wasn't just a pandemic. It was a wealth transfer on a planetary scale. So was the 2008 housing collapse. So was every so-called humanitarian fundraiser where the money quietly disappeared and the billionaires got richer. Disaster capitalism is a model now. Create a crisis, frighten the masses, transfer wealth upward under the guise of saving them. The worst part? Most people still clap for it. They repost the slogans. They buy the ribbons. They say, "We're all in this together," while the 1% doubles their net worth behind gated walls and biometric doors. The final pivot, from mountaintop to ground game. This is the bridge between your inner awakening and your outer rebellion. You are no longer just a seeker on a mountaintop. You are a sovereign being on the ground, in the matrix, breaking the spell from within. It's not enough to hold light. You must wield it. You must be love and clarity, love and boundaries, love and fire. The phase you're entering will challenge everything you thought you knew. You are being asked to discern truth in a world built on illusion. You are being asked to stand firm when others flee. You are being asked to see what others cannot or will not see. When the moment of pure clarity comes, you'll realize your ascension was never just for you. It was for all of us. The clearer you become, the freer we get. Clarity without embodiment is hollow. You've seen through the illusion. Now comes the harder part, navigating it. Toolkit. The spell isn't just about money, it's about belief. Your participation in their system is the current that keeps it alive. To weaken the current, you need clear alternatives and deliberate actions. Number 1, track your tributaries. For 30 days, track every dollar you spend and where it flows. Color code by corporate giant, local business, or self-reliance. This should prove enlightening in and of itself. Number 2, cut the poisoned wells. Replace at least 3 recurring purchases from corporations tied to harmful practices with local or direct alternatives. Build a parallel economy map. List local farmers, artisans, repair shops, barter networks, and skill shares in your area. Keep it offline as well should systems fail. Number 4, change your store of value. Learn about physical assets, precious metals, tools, seeds that hold value outside of fiat currency. Acquire them slowly and discreetly. Number 5, practice small sovereignties. Once a week, make a transaction that bypasses the system entirely. Barter, gift economy, cash purchase, or direct trade. Thank you for listening to this excerpt.